DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one framework, one philosophy, actually thousands of frameworks, but one daily masterclass, all under one umbrella called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, marketing, a lifetime job. Any of you who didn't know, any of you who was unaware, any of you who has never been told, I'm informing you right now. Don't ever again say that nobody told you. That when you get into the business of putting yourself out there, however you consider yourself doing it, marketing is a lifetime job. You are never done marketing. You will be marketing yourself forever. And yes, I do literally mean forever. Forever as long as you're alive, okay? Now, before I get any deeper into this, let me tell you, I have a text line. I want you to text me. Join my texting community where you'll get my daily motivation text, and you are texting me directly. I will respond to your text. My number is 305-384-6894. You can ask me a question. You can share a challenge. You can share a comment or concern or criticism of anything that I've mentioned here on this show. If there's something that you are specifically challenged with that is not directly related to the general points that I made here today, you can ask me about it and I can help you with it. All of those things you can do. All of the above, or you can pick and choose, a la carte. My number is 305-384-6894. Now, when it comes to marketing, first of all, I talked about marketing. I did a previous episode on the very subject of marketing. First of all, episode 1835, I just told you the 3 marketing traffic strategies and how to use each just a few weeks ago. If you don't remember that one, make sure you listen to it. Episode number 1768, how to raise your value in the marketplace. That'd probably be a good one for you. Episode 1515 is where the topic is you are a marketer, and that's marketer in all capital letters for people to understand that no matter what you do in life, whether you're an actor, you're a blogger, you're a TikToker, you're a YouTuber, you're a coach, you're an athlete, whatever it is you do, you are in the business of marketing. Marketing is the way that you get people to know that you exist. The relationship between you and your audience, that is marketing. Okay, so if you did not consider yourself to be a marketer, understand that if you put yourself out there in life, and I assume that you put yourself out there somehow, or if you have a job, you put yourself out there to get hired. If you have a business, you put yourself out there by having that business. You are a marketer, and this is a job that you will have forever. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, make sure you listen to them. Now, before we get any further into this, let me again give you the definition of this word marketing so that everybody understands exactly what we're talking about when I say marketing. All right, marketing is, quote, the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. So the action or business of promoting and selling products and services. Another way of looking at marketing it is the relationship that you create and cultivate between yourself and your target audience, or yourself and just the general public. That is what marketing is. Getting people to know that you exist and building a relationship between you and them. That is marketing. So if you never consider yourself a marketer, you're a marketer. All right. If you don't even try to build a relationship with your audience, that's marketing too. Not even trying is a relationship. That's part of it as well. So all that being said, let's get into our points here today. Topic again, marketing, a lifetime job. Number 1, when you put something out, including yourself, you will be marketing that thing forever, or at least for as long as you want it to sell. As long as you want people to know about it and do whatever you're asking them to do, you'll be marketing for that period of time. So if you want your book to sell forever, you got to be marketing forever. You want your book to sell for a week, market for a week. It's never over. Amazon. Everybody knows who Amazon is, right? There's a reason why everybody knows who Amazon is. And it's not because Amazon has the best website and the best products. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that's debatable. The reason why every one of us knows who Amazon is because Amazon does a ton of marketing. They never stop marketing. Marketing is a full-time business for Amazon. They're in other businesses too, but marketing is one of their full-time businesses. And just in case you didn't know, your full-time business is marketing. Even though your thing is mental health, your thing is teaching people how to play tennis, your thing is being an auto mechanic, your thing is singing and doing ballet, you are a marketer as well. All right, you always have the job of marketing in addition to whatever else you do. Okay? Amazon spends $22 billion a year on marketing. Did you hear me? $22 billion a year on marketing. So we're gonna see how much money that actually is. Each day, that's $602,000. Each hour, that's $25,000 an hour. Every minute, Amazon spends $418 in marketing. Every second, Amazon spends $6.97 in marketing. Every second, Amazon spends $7 marketing. Do you think that's part of their business model? Do you think that's part of the reason why we all shop at Amazon? Think that's part of the reason why you have an Amazon Prime membership? You're paying how much a year for Amazon Prime? What is it, $110, $150? Amazon spends $25,000 a day marketing. All right, you pay $110 a year. So imagine the scale that they're at. That's how much they spend every year on marketing. And as big as they are, as known as they are, as much as you're probably using Amazon forever, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why does Amazon spend that much money on marketing? They already have me as a customer. Understand, as long as you want to keep your customers, as long as you want to continue to fill your funnel, like we talked about the last 2 days, you must continuously market. Now, this is what I would do, and you don't have to take this advice, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I would look at a company like Amazon and say, okay, they're making as much money as they're making. Their owner and founder is the richest person in the world on paper. Let me just copy what they're doing. Let me just see what they're doing and see how I can model it. Not even copy it, because personally, I don't know about you all, but I don't have $22 billion to spend on marketing. All right, I don't have that, but I can model what they're doing and spend some money on marketing. All right, Amazon spending money on marketing. I need to spend money on marketing. Why? Because they're the biggest company in the world. So I'm just going to assume that they know what they're doing. I'm not going to assume that they're not stupid. Okay, I'm going to assume that they know a little bit more than me. Nike, $3.75 billion a year in marketing. That number seems small, right, compared to Amazon, but Amazon's bigger than Nike. Apple spends $1.8 billion a year in marketing. All three of these companies, we all know exactly who they are, right? What does Amazon sell? Everything. What does Nike do? They're for athletes. What's Apple? All right, they make the phones and the tablets, right? Everybody knows this. Everybody. Every one of you who's listening to me right now knows exactly who these three companies are. Just by me saying one name, you know exactly who they are and exactly what they sell, and you could even name a few of their products. You could even name some of their endorsers. Well, Nike, you could. I don't know if Amazon has endorsers, Apple either. But everybody knows who they are, right? Why is that? How are they household names such that I can just mention their name and I know that you know who they are? Marketing. That they continually spend money on marketing. Being good alone is not enough. Again, being good alone is not enough. Being talented alone is not enough. You must market yourself. What is marketing again? It is the process of promoting and selling your goods and services. If you don't promote and sell your goods and services, does it matter that your goods and services are great? Not really. Not the people who don't know that you exist. It doesn't matter to them. It might matter to the people who know about you, but if you're not doing any marketing, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting the number of people who will ever know that you exist. Nike, Amazon, and Apple, just between the three of them, damn near $30 billion a year spent in marketing. These are very well-known entities. They spend $30 billion a year in marketing. You think you're just going to sell all your stuff based on word of mouth? Really? You think you can put something up on Etsy or Amazon or your website and people are just going to know about it because of how good you are and because of the followers you have on Facebook? No. Look at anyone who is doing business maybe at a level that you want to get to. Ask them, how much money do you spend on marketing? How much do you spend on ads? Do you spend anything on marketing and advertising? I guarantee you're not going to find a single person who says, no, I spend nothing whatsoever. I'm talking about people who are already at the level or going towards the level you want to be at when it comes to your products and services. Ask them, do you spend money on marketing and advertising? You will not find a single person who says, I don't spend anything. There was a guy I met I was at the ClickFunnels conference in 2020. It doesn't even feel like it was it 2020? Yeah, it was 2020. It doesn't even seem like it was just a year ago. It was kind of like a year and a half, but damn, it seems like it was a decade ago. And I'm just talking to him. I didn't know who he was, and he was interested in me. He's asking me questions because I was a basketball player. He was into sports, and he's asking me, he's just peppering me with question after question about basketball. And I started asking him about what he does. His name is Ryan, and I don't even remember exactly what it is that he sold, but he starts telling me about his stuff and the things that he does in business and the partners that he works with. And just based on the things that he was saying, the context clues, I was thinking, all right, this guy seems to be doing some kind of big things in business, even though I had no idea who the hell he was. I said to him, Ryan, how much money do you spend on advertising every month? And he said 6 figures. That's not how much he makes a month. That's how much he spends in advertising a month. That's marketing, folks. And this guy was and is doing his thing in business. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Nike, they get as big as they are because they spend money on marketing, not the other way around. It's not you get big, then you spend money on marketing. It's the marketing that makes you big. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to go get a big budget to do advertising just because Nike and Amazon and Apple are doing it. What I'm telling you is you cannot ignore marketing. Marketing is part of the game, no matter what you do. Am I clear on this? Again, as big as these companies are, let's just assume that they know what they're talking about. So you need to model them. All right, how much do you see Nike ads? Amazon spends money on ads. Apple spends money on ads. Again, they're already big. You already bought products from them. I got a bunch of Nike gear in my house, a bunch of Apple stuff sitting on my desk right now. I got an Apple phone, another Apple phone, an Apple tablet, an Apple computer, Apple AirPods. I got Apple everything all around me right now in front of me. And Apple still spends $1.8 billion a year in marketing. Why? They don't need me. They don't need to market to Dre, do they? Yes, they do need to market to Dre. Because if they stop marketing to me, they become out of sight, not of mind. And I might go buy the Android product. But if they keep marketing to me, I'm just pretty much stick with Apple. This is part of the hustle, folks. This is part of the game. If you want people to know about your stuff, you have to tell them about your stuff. Do not assume that people know about your stuff just because you put it out. Why? Because everybody is tuned into their own station of what's in it for me. They're only thinking about themselves. Every one of us is a narcissist. You ever accused somebody? Have you ever accused someone of being a narcissist? Okay, stop doing it. All right, you're a narcissist too. All right, you are focused on you just as much as everybody else is focused on them. And unless you interrupt people and let them know about what you're doing, they ain't thinking about what you're doing. People are not sitting around thinking about you, wondering, I wonder if Dre's put another book out. Let me go look up his website and find if he got a book. No. Now maybe there are a few people who are doing that. Most people ain't thinking about Dre when they wake up in the morning. It's my job to make you think about getting my book The Third Day by going to thirddaybook.com. That's my job. It's not your job, it's my job. Because I'm the one who's selling the product. It's not my job to go and find out if Apple has a new phone out. It's Apple's job to let me know they have a new phone and entice me to go get it and spend money on marketing to keep letting me know, hey, you got the old iPhone, here's the new iPhone, come get it. That's their job. This is part of the game, people. Again, you don't have to spend $1 billion on it. Maybe you don't have that available right now. Maybe it's in your savings account and it takes a few days to move over to the checking. The whole point is you need to be spending something on marketing, and spending doesn't necessarily mean money. What are your 5 forms of investment? Episode 609. Let's say it together. Time, money, attention, energy, and focus. You need to be putting resources into your marketing. You have to interrupt people's regularly scheduled programming and get in their faces and get in their ears, get in their heads about your products and services. Otherwise, they will never know and will not think about you. Point number 2. Today's topic is marketing is a lifetime job. All right, you will never be done marketing, at least if you plan on continuing to sell. Number 2. Maybe you're discouraged by what you just heard. I mean, there was some very big numbers that I threw out there. I mean, Nike was the smallest at $1.8 billion, and maybe that's a little bit out of your marketing budget. Maybe you don't even have a marketing budget. So I got good news for you. You don't have to spend money at all when you first start, but you do have to market. Understand that marketing does not necessarily mean you have to spend money. Remember the definition of marketing. Is the practice of promoting and selling your goods and services. Promoting and selling goods and services doesn't say you have to spend money to do it. You just have to promote and sell. All right? Are there ways to promote and sell things without spending $1? Absolutely there are. See episode 1835. I told you the 3 key marketing strategies. One of them was advertising, which is when you spend $1 and you get people to look at your stuff because you paid. The other 2, the Dream 100 and content, those don't cost any money. It doesn't cost any money to leverage the Dream 100. When you appear on somebody else's platform, or you go in a clubhouse room and you get up on stage, or somebody mentions you on their social media because they just like what you have going on, or you build a relationship with someone who has a bigger audience than you, you don't have to pay them to build that relationship. You don't pay them to get on somebody's podcast. You get on there based on your sweat equity, based on the game that you're putting out to the world. You let people know about that game, and then they voluntarily put you in front of their audience because you're giving their audience something that they themselves could not give that audience. You are offering something that their audience couldn't get otherwise, and it is somehow works synergistically with what that person has. That is the Dream 100. That's how it works. Listen to episode 1835 where I explained it. When you put content out there, right now what you're listening to is Dre Baldwin content. When I put a post on Instagram, when I put a video on YouTube, what am I doing? I'm not spending, it doesn't cost me money to do those things. It costs me time, it costs me energy, it costs me attention, it costs me focus. Every one of my 5 investments accept money to put that out. And what do I get in exchange? I'm building a relationship with my audience, and hopefully, eventually, over time, I'm going to move people through the 6 phases of the sales funnel, and then they're going to go do something, which is going to make me money. This is all part of the game. This is all part of the system. If you don't understand this, you need to start understanding it like yesterday. And if you need help understanding it, you listen to the person who can help you with it. I gave you my text number. You don't have to spend money when you start. Sweat equity. You can spend sweat equity. If you don't have money, you probably have time. You don't have either one, you need to create one or the other. If you have a social media account or an email list or an email account or a phone, then use the Dream 100 and create content. All right, those are forms of marketing. Again, the 5 forms of investment, episode 609. Time, money, attention, energy, and focus. If you do not have money to give time, give focus, give energy. If you don't have or you don't want to spend money on advertising, then you should be doing the Dream 100 and creating content as much as you possibly can. That's all you should be doing if you're not spending money on advertising. Ideally, you're doing all 3, which leads to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is marketing, a lifetime job. Remember that marketing is an art. It is not a science. So you notice that what I've talked about here today, I went from talking about how Amazon spends $22 billion a year in marketing to talking about how you can utilize the Dream 100 and your time, money, attention, energy, and focus to get attention to what it is that you're doing. Using sweat equity, creating content. And I'm giving you examples of that. I'm giving you all of these different examples because something out of all of these is going to stick with you. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do even 2 of them. You can pick one that really works for you. When I first got started online, I was selling products online and we were processing thousands of transactions a year only based on one source of marketing. And that was me putting basketball workout videos on YouTube. That's all I was doing. I was not running ads. I was blogging a little bit, but that wasn't sending anybody to my website. The main thing, 99% of my traffic to my sales pages was coming from videos that I put on YouTube, 1 to 3 minutes of me practicing basketball. That's it. That was the only source. And I'm not telling you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. Actually, maybe to impress you a little bit, but seriously, to impress upon you that marketing is an art, meaning you got to find what works for you. And back then, 10 years ago, what worked for me was putting basketball videos on YouTube. What works for me now, I send emails, I do Instagram posts, I do ads, I do a mix of a lot of things. I use the Dream 100, I do like 15 different things to market. Whereas 10 years ago, I was only doing one thing. I had a different audience back then, way different than the audience that I have now, different offerings now than what I had then. I'm doing different things myself every day now than what I was doing back then. So things change, I changed my approach. Marketing is an art, not a science, meaning just because something was working 10 years ago doesn't mean you have to keep doing it now. It might change. Maybe you changed. Your audience changed. I would assume all of those things changed. Over 10 years, there's going to be a lot of change that happens. So the quote-unquote right way to do marketing is the way that gets people to do what you want them to do. That's the purpose of marketing, is to build that relationship and eventually move people through the 6 phases of the sales funnel, at least get them to the awareness and interest phase. How do you do that? What's the right way to do that? We don't know yet. You got to try things out. Maybe it's your Instagrams. Maybe it's your TikTok posts. Maybe it's email. Maybe it's the Dream 100. Maybe you need to run some ads. Who knows? You got to get out there and get active. You got to get out there and get active so you can find out what's working and what's not. But if you're not being active and doing things, then of course, how are we ever going to find out? Now, the way that you can get active is you need to develop and start using your action bias, which I talked about in episode 1199. Developing an action bias. What does action bias mean? It means a person who is more leaning more towards doing something, more inclined towards doing stuff than not doing stuff. Simple as that. If you're trying to figure out art, you got to get active and see, all right, let me see how this works. Let me see how this works. If we have any artists who are listening to this, and you could be an artist you paint, you draw, you make music, you're a dancer, how do you find that right piece of art or that right style or that right approach in how you do your art? You probably had to try out a whole lot of different things. You had to see, let me sample this, let me try this out, let me see how this works, let me see how I feel about this. You had to try different stuff. And over time, what do? You evolve, you change stuff. All right, let me change up, let me innovate, let me do something different. That's what art is. There is no one right way to do it. There's no right way to do art. There's no wrong way to do art. You just need to know what your KPI is, your key performance indicator, so you know when you are getting the right outcome and when you're not. But if you don't know what your outcome is, then you never know if you're doing the right thing. And I got a masterclass on KPIs coming soon. Again, that stands for key performance indicators. So there's no one right way to do marketing, which means the way that you do your thing may not be the exact same way that someone else did their thing, because listen, they're not you, you're not them, their product and your product are not exactly the same, your audiences are not exactly the same, and where your audience is at compared to where their audience is at may not be the same. The cost of your product, the investment required, the commitment required, all those things can be different. So you don't need to copy what another person does, but you want to model what another person does. So for example, you may not be able to copy Amazon's advertising budget, but their marketing budget, but you can model the fact that they have a marketing budget and figure out, okay, what kind of investments am I making in marketing my product? Because they probably know what they're doing. I would assume they know what they're doing because they're making more money than anybody. So your job is to identify the fine line between modeling other people and when you need to break off from their example and do things your own way. All right, and there's a fine line between that. Again, you're modeling, you're not copying. Because you're copying, then you're assuming that you're just like that other person. I don't know any two people who are exactly the same, even twins, they ain't exactly the same. So your job is figuring out where's that line between modeling and copying, because you don't want to copy because it's not going to work. All that being said, let's recap today's class, which is marketing, a lifetime job. Make sure you see those additional episodes that I gave you when it comes to marketing, specifically episode 1515, which is You Are a Marketer. All the links are down below in the show notes, and every episode is at workonyourgamepodcast.com. Point number one, when you put something out, you'll be marketing that thing forever. It never ends. Amazon, Nike, Apple all spend over $1 billion a year in marketing, and these are well-known entities, and that didn't happen because they were known, then they spent money. No, they spent money and then they got known. This is just the way that it works in life. If you don't have money, then invest every other form of investment. Time, attention, focus, and energy. All right. Nobody's sitting around waiting for an announcement from or about you. Everybody's plugged into themselves. You must interrupt their regularly scheduled programming and get in people's faces so that they know you exist. Point number two, if you are discouraged by those numbers that I threw out there, I have good news. You don't have to spend a single dime to market yourself. Episode 1835, I gave you the 3 key marketing strategies. Only one of them involved money. The other 2 involved sweat equity and the value that you bring to the table. So if you don't have money to give, use time, focus, energy, and attention. If you don't have or don't want to spend money on advertising, you should be utilizing the Dream 100 and creating content to death, which leads to number 3, marketing is an art, not a science. Meaning be creative. The right way to do marketing is the way that gets people to do what you want them to do. And that may change over time. What worked 10 years ago might not work today. And what worked last week, you might need to tweak that a little bit for this week. So marketing is always changing. This is why you need to be investing in it, because you need to be paying attention to what's working and what's not. Keeping people at that awareness stage, continually bringing people into your funnel. This is how you keep selling stuff. The reason why Amazon keeps marketing, despite the fact that you and I and everybody we know has Amazon Prime, is because there are a bunch of people who don't. And they want to keep bringing people into that funnel and keep marketing to the people, even those who are already buying, so that they keep buying moving forward. This is the game that you are in case you didn't know, now you know. Send me a text message. Tell me how I can help you with this. If you have an idea or insight of anything that I talked about here today, my number is 305-384-6894. Again, 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre all day.